I possess a large number of new wave pictures, and so do many others all over this realm. There is no changing or deviation of these pictures, but a shifting of them among the various light beings who are working from the rest point to rest point in eternity. The reality is put together to make a new wave picture, or a newness unit, which is actually the rest point. These points are similar to events in this world we can each experience here. On this earthly level, we are always going from one event to another, or experiencing certain events in our daily lives daily. There are actually no new events in this world. All experiences have been experienced by someone at some time throughout the isness of the human race. It is possible to have every possible experience of man, provided you have the time, willpower, and motivation. All you need to do is rise above the negative, restrictive power flow within this level and make contact with whatever event you are seeking. It is real experience that makes the real you adapt yourself to this world and rise into the worlds in the upper universes. The experiences in the real universes are not too much different from the ones that exist here, as they are simply more refined with more light or these picture waves. The main difference between the upper region wave pictures and those of the lower realms is simply the degree of refinement and the freedom of will in the upper worlds. We work with using the new wave pictures for rest points in eternity, for the sake of bringing newness to ourselves instead of moving to the newness point. It's rather hard to get this across to the average mind, because in the unseen worlds, we have little need of motion unless we desire it. Desire is something that we do not need at all, because we are totally taken care of in the real sound light reality. Also, we are in the dominating joy and happiness of being in an absolute position of being is-ness, and with the great reality itself. The relation of cause and effect cannot be applied to the reality in the real universes of sound and light. Causation has no meaning in the lower worlds apart from change. And as the succession is relative, causation is merely an appearance. It is certainly useful within the limits of experience, but it really cannot be regarded as anything of absolute validity. The basic elements of life in the real universes are succession, new wave pictures, and rest points. All of these are working within the three abstracts of isness, here-ness, and now-ness. All of these rest within the basic framework of reality itself. Once you have completely understood the true reality that life is, then you can free yourself from the illusions of the first three levels. The main idea here is to break through the shackles that hold you to the lower levels so that you can enter the real universes and have the rest of your days in reality. Once the real guide comes into your life, you are assisted beyond your restraints until you are free from here. Causation cannot be continuous. It cannot exist except in that time occupied by the line drawn across the succession. And since time is not a time, but a mere abstraction, the cause itself can be no better. It is unreal, a non-entity, and a whole succession of the world consists of these non-entities. This is much the same as to suppose that solid things are made of points and lines and surfaces. These are fictions, and useful for some purpose, but still fictions they remain. As cause here must be a real event, in the real universes there is no fragment of real time in which it can be real. Causation is, therefore, not continuous in the levels above, and so it is not causation, but merely the appearance of it. What I have described entails a variety of views for you to understand your relationship with the true reality, the all is. So, for most, what I am explaining to you is not for the outside world, but only for those who have had a large degree of real experience. To the next person, what I have presented is a philosophy. Rebazar motioned for us to take a break, and so all of us went outside and walked around. While Paul and Rebazar talked, I walked around and looked at the huge mountains and stared at the blue sky. As I was looking into the sky, I suddenly saw Ursha sitting on a cloud and waving at me. For a moment, I wanted to fly up to her, and then remembered I was not in my physical body, and so I did fly up to her. "Hello, Dwayne, I have been waiting for you. You boys are taking a break from the drill, huh?" she said. "Oh, yes. I am having a lot of visions while Rebazar is talking to us. I can see different images appear which I am learning to better associate with," I said. "Are you seeing me in those visions of yours?" she asked as she laughed. "Well, there is a mystery about some of what I am seeing, so that must be you, huh?" I asked. "Of course, there is a part of you that is having fun with me while you are with Rebazar and Paul at the same time," she said as she giggled. "Wow, that's so cool. I seem to be everywhere," I said. "There are so many endless dimensions on each level, but for the most part, most people will only relate to a very few, those that seem to be most real to them from where they are basically residing with their real awareness. You are being shown so much more than you can even perceive at this time, but eventually, all of you will catch up to what Rebazar is giving you. The biggest part of what he is teaching you is not sensed or seen by the lesser awareness of yourself because it exists in a one-dimensional arena all its own. It takes lifetimes to encompass what the real guides install in a person," she said. "Do you see me being too smart for Earth people when I bring this knowledge out?" I asked. "What I see is how wonderful you will be. You are going to go through a lot because almost everyone you will come to know will not understand you. The same will be of Paul because the two of you are very exceptional, like Rebazar and the rest of the boys. You will experience what others will only dream of, but never have, because they are not willing to have the heart it takes nor the real courage. This is a very exceptional time period you and Paul are in. The Earth people are being given this brief opportunity because there is an opening for it. In centuries past, people were hunted and destroyed for knowing too much and were branded as witches and devils. It is all different today, but then again you will have a huge challenge of getting through the gross thickness of the created consciousness most people love so dearly. I will always be with you and we will ride this adventure together, and that is the best part," she said. I considered everything Lou said as I looked into her beautiful face as she smiled at me. As always, it was all such a dream I was in. I would say that when I relate this to others, it will all seem like such a dream to them. As I looked at her, she began to fade, which meant Rebazar was once again ready to continue. In the real universes, there is no unity. There is no logic or any logical relation of necessity for any cause whatever, nor mental definition. The concepts of the metaphysical systems of causality as necessary and indispensable are absurd. It implies the possibility of logic as something which doesn't exist, and this is certainly true when you get off the earth level and begin soaring into the real universes. Any form of logic does not exist there. Therefore, when you use rest points in eternity, it doesn't for one moment mean that you are falling out of a mechanical pattern of behavior. It simply brings you an opportunity to be resourceful on your own. The great reality lives within its own reality. So therefore, you are expected to make and live within your own made-up reality. These ideas are simply postulates. Freedom in this world simply means making your own postulates and living by them or not. On earth, you have to live by the laws or postulates which others make for the good of the whole. But in this day and age, so much of that has changed. The reason being, this is simple. The weak must have some defense against the strong, but with the further awareness of what is taking place in the world today, you have the so-called powerful taking advantage of everything they can. During this lifetime and into their afterlife, they will be dealt with under the lords of karma and their gods of retribution. But now that you have become aware of the real universes, the same idea isn't true, because all those that have already crossed over beyond the illusions of the space gods are as strong as everyone else in the true realities. In the real universes, there are no weak beings, and so therefore no one needs defending. And so each new can make their own postulates and live together without the slightest harm or damage to one another. In the real universes, you do not need anything because you live on the music from the sound wave. Reality is so much different from the earth because here you have to take care of a body and continuously try to make it run smoothly until it really becomes bothersome at an older age. The reality of the real universes does not exhibit any tension or age at all. As you begin to journey upward from the earth, you will find the creativeness is an effort that pertains to the lower worlds, and the finer creations in reality are effortless and fun. The idea is the less resistance it has to overcome, the better the creation. The free movement of life without resistance is a wonderful experience which we find only in self-expression, hence the movement has no definite end to aim at or achieve. Real freedom is the complete transcendence of the lower worlds. To obtain a better understanding of what is termed eternity, I will go into the divisions again. These are the real universes of sound and light, the highest of all, Kalam, Brahmanda, the second region, the highest heaven of the belief systems and the Lord God, the astral realm, the first heaven of man, and the physical realm, the lowest division, which is the gross material level. You must remember that eternity or immortality is one of those things which we can't talk about directly. We have to work around it and get an understanding of it by knowing what it is not. rather than what it is. Your experience on the earth is the same way. You must learn what is not real, and then eventually you will realize what is real. The true realities of the all is are just too extreme, and beyond the mind vehicles humans must deal with, the mind and emotions imply restriction and expansion, as the real you can only be real now. That's some of the Real Far Country, new book 3 of the Adventurous series by Dwayne the Great Writer, available at lulu.com. You can find out about the new presentation by going to www.worldwideeducators.com. Check out the projects that the new presentation has in development. See if you want to find out about what it's all about. I guess I'll just end the show for now. See ya.